All right, welcome to Eric Lips and his presentation for Notability. I'm going to try to go through, so if you want to follow along, if you're looking at the screen, the features that they have. So there's kind of like a breakdown of 5 different sections. So I'm going to try to use this arrow too because I can't really show you my finger, but I can do the little outline here, but that doesn't really help you. So what I'm going to do is just um, show you a little arrow here, and I'm going to show you the typing feature, which is if you click it, you can set a thing. You can write or you can bring up your keyboard and type away. Where is this feature? So something cool that you can do. Add the keyboard, delete this. So that's kind of typing. I typically don't use that. And then you have your pen feature, which is right here. And that is going to bring up your pen and pencil. So pen allows you to do this one right here, which is just a generalized, doesn't matter how hard you press. And then there is this, which is light, hard, light, which is, kind of nice if you're drawing. Some staggered lines. And then finally it has the little dots. So that's the dots right there. So those are some really nice features. Oh, I grabbed my arrow. So we will delete this. So that is the pen. And then the pencil is just really a shade lighter. I guess that's more for drawing. So you don't really need to use that. Let's look at the creating shapes. So when you're on your pen, if you draw a square, hold long press, it will automatically create the shape that you want, and you can resize it. And then we can go back to this, allowing us to do another. So if we draw a circle, but we want it nice, hold, long press, can make it longer, bigger, wider. Do triangles, do arrows. So there's some hidden shapes that I really didn't explore, but it's not really a feature that I use. So if it's something that you would use, I would say go ahead and try to use that. Our next one is the highlighter, which one is right here. And that one's just as you would think. It's a highlighter, same features as the pen, right? Different colors, uh, changing the shape, larger. And then the cool feature is if you're highlighting and then you lift your pen and then you go back over it, it makes it darker, right? So every time you lift your pen, it makes it darker, darker, darker. So I found that to be kind of interesting, but also kind of frustrating when you're trying to highlight something you've gone over it once. Now you're going back over it again for a little bit of a darker. So our next feature is the the eraser right here. So if you were to have something, let's say we have a whole bunch, right? If we click our eraser, partial allows us to really just partially, but you'd be here for a long time trying to erase that. So if you do a whole, and it erases the whole section. So that was a bad example, but if you were to do this and then hit whole, click it, and it disappears. So quite a bad example because I had split up the shape into multiple pieces. So that is your eraser. This is your selection tool, so really you can use it for selecting large areas with a square, or you can do freehand, which allows you to be kind of creative around edges. Um, you can do that. Can't see my fingers, but I'm resizing it and flipping it. So a little different if you're on an iPad versus a computer, but if you have a touchscreen, this is definitely useful feature. So the other thing would be is if you are a math teacher, um, you can go into View, Ruler, and then this is kind of nice. So if you're really trying to get some nice straight edges, right? The other thing that's nice is you're like, oh, I really want to get 0 or 180. You click the center, makes your 180 perfect. So that's kind of a nice feature. Not something you're probably going to use quite a bit, but again, it might serve a purpose for more for others than myself. So that was a selection tool. And then you can get into also is a nice little feature, which is writing AX plus BX. Then you use your selection tool, click and hit convert, and then hit math. And you can create little formulas, resizing it. And then sometimes it's a little wonky. So we'll try one that it doesn't always. So I wrote the x a little weird, making a fraction over bx squared. I like convert math. Okay, so as you can see, it's relatively reliable. And it's nice if you are writing math equations, but you want it to be really visible for students. And then you can just simply resize it and then work below it saying, I'm going to be working on this problem and solving